Welcome to this new Optimize podcast video. Today we're going to be talking all about tools to drastically improve anywhere aspect in life in terms of health, in terms of your focus, in terms of sleep, and so much more. And now you may be wondering, who are we to be teaching about this? Who are we to be doing this podcast, right? We've been going through trials and errors and doing this, experimenting with this for more than 3 years, reading books, watching podcasts, taking notes, researching by ourselves. And I want you to think about this. You'll be gaining over 3 years of experience by you just listening to this for 45 minutes. So tune in.
If I were you, I would very much listen to this because every single podcast of Andrew Huberman that you could listen to, we've already watched them all and we've already took notes on all of them and we've already implemented every single thing that he could possibly say. So these ones that we're about to say are the ones that you will actually apply and get results from because we've naturally selected them over time.
So I want to really split this up into three sections, three fundamentals to be exact. The first fundamental that we want to focus on is for your function. And this could be your physical aspect, like the things you do for your physical benefits. And the second one lies within the same context, and that's sleep. We believe that sleep is one of the most important parts to our life in every way possible. For our third and last fundamental that I want to be talking about is for our focus. We'll be talking about tools to instantly boost your focus, what you could be doing, and what you could consider. So, Cam, I've been knowing you for what, like 6 months now, 7 months or whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
I know that you're a really optimal person. You're in like the top 1% optimal people in the population. I really want to consider that. And I know you put that you go on a walk and try to get morning sunlight every single day to your morning routine. Is there any
hmm hmm
specific reason why you add this? Like, because you have hundreds of things to add, but out of all of them, you decided to choose morning sunlight. So why is that?
Well, bro, so when I think back to well, I think that you're gonna touch on this later, but like, so I used to hate the morning, bro. Morning time was like the time that I
Right.
would not do anything, like wouldn't wake up. You know what I mean? Like I don't remember a time when I woke up before 8 a.m. But like recently, I've been waking up like consistently. Haven't woke up after 6 o'clock unless like I went to bed really late in like a year. No, maybe like 6 months. So the reason for that is because of the morning sunlight. Because what happens with the morning sunlight is it sets your circadian rhythm. And when we think of circadian rhythm, like we think of, at least I think of health class, but like it's actually this thing that we can actually use. Like we're monkeys, bruh. And since we're monkeys, we can look back to like what we did when we were monkeys. And when we were monkeys, the only thing that woke us up wasn't alarm clocks, wasn't anything. It was the sun. And so we've kind of evolved to wake up with the sun. And so when we look at the sun every single morning, which is what I do when I get that morning sunlight walk, it really increases your alertness like crazy, and it sets your circadian rhythm so that it makes it super easy to fall asleep at night. So I've been doing that for, I don't know, bro. Like ever since I implemented that, I just never didn't implement that anymore. So like that was super good for my sleep. But I know that you have some like funny story about insomnia with your sleep, Juwan.
Oh
Like
yeah,
how did you
definitely,
like,
definitely.
let's say that someone has insomnia, bro, or thinks they have insomnia. What do you do?
Bro, literally like a year ago or 2 years ago, I thought I had like the most severe insomnia case. It was crazy for me. Oh, I remember, bro, I was like discussed this to my dad and my mom, bro. I was like, I need some like therapy. Mom, I need some therapy. I can't sleep. What is wrong with me? And it was during the time of COVID too, so it was during the time where we couldn't really go outside. Well, we could have, but I really decided not to. You're gonna get creeped out by this, but I think one point in time, I haven't stepped a foot outside of my house for like 2 months. or maybe that's like
Ew.
a little more drastic, like 1 month.
Dude, that's bad. But I thought I was bad, bro.
Bro, for a month, like I wouldn't even lift up the window. I wouldn't even get the blinds up. That was pretty intense, right? And no shit, why I wasn't able to fall asleep. I think I was living in a time where I was not implementing any optimal tool that could be like sunlight, that could be like routine, because routine is, I feel like, the most important thing. This is additional to your morning sunlight. Having a consistent, regular sleeping schedule is the best thing that you could do for your sleep. And it starts with morning sunlight. So ever since I really implemented this into my life, I would say it's only for about like 6 months I've been doing this, but I could feel the benefits from day one, and that just proves how beneficial and how powerful this exercise, this routine can be, right?
So, why does routine help your sleep?
If you think about it for a second, I think you mentioned about circadian rhythm. It's just all about science. We can't
Mm-hmm.
really avoid science in this case. Uh, our body clocks is winded to 24 hours, right? Actually 24 hours and 15 minutes to be exact. I got this from I actually got this from a book from like this book called
Damn.
Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. It's like one of the number one books. I think the author mentioned
Wow.
that our body clocks are naturally winded to 24 hours and 15 minutes. So I think it's really important that since we are monkeys, we are really biological, right? Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have alarm clocks. The only reason why we woke up was because of the sun. So if you think about it logically, it makes so much sense. If we rely on our routine, our sleep is going to be filled with quality. You're going to wake up more energized because that's our usual schedule. It's what you're used to, and it's going to be so beneficial for you, right? Um, about a During the same time that I mentioned, like about like 2 years ago, I'll be sleeping. I'll be aiming to sleep literally 10 hours or 11 hours. I feel like that's
Dang.
insane. I I don't think that I needed that much amount of sleep, and if I did, I know why. And I think the reason why is because my quality was so bad. It was hideous.
Mm.
My sleeping routine was hideous. I remember one time I would sleep at
Wow.
9, but another day I would sleep at like 1 a.m. So, Juwan, why aren't you staying
Dang.
consistent? And that's what I want to tell the people who
Yeah.
are listening to this, that they think they have insomnia, because cases are, and for some people you might have insomnia. That's where you need to get it addressed. But cases are, you probably don't, or you probably could get rid of it by doing these simple habits, by implementing them, and 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 relying on them to give you benefits immediately, right?
Yeah. We're gonna be talking more about those throughout the podcast. Juan, I got two questions from what you just said.
Yes,
The
sir.
first one, I'm just curious. Why is it that we have an extra 15 minutes on our body clocks?
Cam, I actually have no clue, bro. I actually have no clue.
It didn't say it in the book.
Um, I think that's just our natural body clock. Oh, I think it did mention. So the people who were doing this experiment, they actually decided to go in not a it was some type of cave, and it was filtered out like completely no light. They completely isolated themselves from
Huh.
light, and that was for a reason. That was to research their sleep, how it would affect them if light wasn't present. And actually,
Hmm.
yeah, I think I do have an answer for that. I'm sorry, I'm being stupid. I think it was because light wasn't present that 15 minutes was continuously added to their circadian rhythm. So let's
Hmm.
say the first day, all right, it might sound a little bit complicated. Um, it shifts additional 15 minutes later, I would say, if light wasn't present. Because they completely isolated themselves from light, I think 15 minutes was rewinded and shifted back and back and back and back as more days went on.
Mm.
And I think that really proved how light was like really a big contributor to our rhythm, to our circadian rhythm. We adjust to it. That is why we have daylight savings time. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's a really crucial aspect in our life.
So what do you mean rewind? Like their brains thought that it was nighttime for
No,
longer?
no, okay, okay.
Like,
I think it shifts forward. So if the circadian rhythm that the person slept the previous day was 10 p.m., I think the next
mm-hmm.
day it would set to 10:15, and then the next day 10:30, 10:45, 11, and it would constantly
Yeah.
shift forward because they were not viewing sunlight. I don't know. Don't trust me
But
100% on this. You can do your own research on the book Why We Sleep.
yeah,
But yeah, I
that
remember briefly.
that sounds interesting. Okay, and then I have another question. How do you increase your quality of sleep? Do you have any tools for that?
Dude, I got a bunch. I got a
Oh, bad.
bunch. Um,
Okay.
I think everything else is regular. Like I just take, hot shower before. I think everyone does that. Or if you don't, you're pretty disgusting.
I
I
don't
think
do
like,
that.
all right, never mind. I love you, Cam. Yeah, because you take cold showers throughout the day. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think two new things that I've been adding to my routine, and that's been like complete life changers. Were
Hmm.
number one, using red light instead of blue light. So, Cam, you definitely know about this. Actually, Cam, you're the one who told me about this.
Really?
Yeah, you're actually yeah. Because of you, I actually went and bought these two red light bulbs off of
Oh,
Amazon for like
yeah.
$10, and then I
Let's
just
go.
stick them into my other bulb, and I
Wow.
started trying them, and I was like, shoot, I could actually fall asleep easier.
Wow.
Because I used to track my sleep. There's this
Hmm.
app called Sleep Cycle, and
Oh yeah.
a long while back, bro, my sleep quality was pretty bad. Like I already mentioned, I would fall asleep on average like 45 minutes. It would take me 45 minutes to fall asleep because the
Wow.
app tracks how
Yeah.
long you take to fall asleep. But after
Yeah.
using the red light and the other tool that I'm going to mention, it dropped down to I think around 20 minutes or less than 20 minutes,
Wow.
which is the average standard. And I would take that standard because I used to be somebody who I thought had insomnia. That's how bad of a sleeper I was.
Wow.
And yeah, the second one that I want to mention is not the one that you might actually expect, but a lot of people who are quality sleepers, most of them do. To name a
Hmm.
few, I know Tim Ferriss. I know you know about Tim Ferriss too.
Yeah.
Andrew Huberman, and there's just so much more people who are within this field of like self improvement, of the top 1% optimal people who do this.
Yeah.
And I really started doing this like any type of book, like fiction, nonfiction. One day I was reading David Goggins' never finished book, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
crazy. It was crazy. I don't know how I fell asleep after reading Goggins' book. I'll be like pumped before I'm going to sleep. Um,
Dude, I want to read
but
that
yeah,
book. I
yeah,
haven't read it yet.
yeah. It's similar to Can't Hurt Me. Um, but reading these books, I realized that my eyes got so tired. They get sleepy when I'm reading these books, and without
Wow.
them, if I'm like walking around the house, if I'm like eating 10 minutes before bed, it wouldn't produce the same results. So really, after trying these two things, I think my sleep quality has just gone up crazy.
So do you think that
Cam,
reading before bed like makes you put into an imaginary state so you get more into dream mode?
dude, I think it does. Um, I think that the more you read before you go to sleep, or like the types of thing that you go to sleep, you're in that zone. You're in that reading zone, or you're in that
Yeah.
consuming zone. You're not really like thinking about life. You're not thinking
Mhm.
about, like the worries that you got in life. You're not
Yeah.
thinking about the next day. You're not really anxious. But you just be locked in and locked in on trying to sleep, locked in on just winding down, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I know you're a big optimal guy in sleep. I heard you sleep at like 8:30 ish, and you wake up like you said consistently before 6, which is crazy. How were you able to achieve something like this? Is there any sleep tools that you want to tell me about?
So recently, actually, I've been doing an experiment where instead of getting 9 hours of sleep, I get 8. So I'm waking up at 5 now and going to sleep at 9. I've been doing that for the last
Holy,
2 weeks, and
yeah,
yeah, I thought
yeah,
I'd talk
yeah,
about it on here because I thought it was
yeah,
pretty
yeah. I think
interesting.
we
After,
talked about it. Yeah,
yeah, I'll talk about it right after say what like how I've been quite consistent with my sleep. So
yeah.
like you mentioned a lot about those tools that you said, just like winding down tools and easily waking up. So it's just like controlling your alertness. But one of the things that I do to make sure that I'm controlling my alertness is I track it. So like I have this kind of like tracker. I call it a goal tracker, or you can just have like a habit tracker, and I just write down like oh, have perfect alertness, like optimize my alertness. I have that write down. Like have like perfect my sleep and alertness just to remind me every day. And then it reminds me to like, oh, get my circadian rhythm, make sure my lights are on, experiment with my sleep, because if I make that one of my goals, then it's going to become a reality soon enough, right? If you actually care about your goals. So um, yeah, so in that experiment, well, first of all, I've just been doing that consistently for a long time, and it was quite easy to start because the things with sleep, you see changes right away because it's sleep, right? Sleep is like probably one of the biggest experimenters you can have in your life, and if you have bad sleep, you're probably gonna have a bad life, bro. It's like one of those crazy things. Like
Facts,
good sleep is
facts,
parallel to all the good things in life. So, like,
hundred
anyways, I've been
percent.
experimenting with my sleep a little bit, and I have the journal, bro. Like, why don't I just show you guys, or
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just
Whip
say it.
it up, bro. Whip it up.
Yeah. So okay. So I got my experiment right here. Days 1 through 8.
Yes,
Just
sir.
some notes, and we'll go through it. Like, I wrote down just some things that I thought about at the end of the day, like what I noticed throughout the day compared to an average day. So day one, bro, I remember I woke up and I was so tired, bro. Like, oh my gosh, I couldn't keep my eyes open because I was trying to meditate. Dude, I almost fell asleep meditating. So
Oh,
yeah. But I was like, I just felt exhausted throughout the day, bro. Like 4 p.m. I was exhausted. But like throughout the days, like by day three, bro, day 3 it was still trash, but now like it's day 9, and I think that it's kind of normalizing a little bit, if because you know my sleep feels quite normal now. I feel alert throughout the day until I'm about to go to bed, so I think that my body's gotten a little bit used to it. I don't know if this is just like the season, but my nose has been runny, so like I think my immune system, like I wrote down
yo,
like at
me
least
too.
5 out of 6 days that my immune
Yeah.
system didn't feel as good, and my like I think because of sleep and like cold showers and working out and stuff, I haven't gotten sick in so long. But this is like the first time in a long time that I felt sick. So that just goes to show like 1 hour less and I already feel a little bit more sick. And like right away, bro, my focus was so bad. My my gains, I couldn't unshackle my mind. I was finished, bro. I wasn't never finished. I was finished in the gym. And dude, it was just kind of harder to do things, and it made me realize how important sleep was. That, dude, if you don't
Would
have good
would you?
sleep, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Would you say that your sleep quality has gone up though, to a certain percentage?
Honestly, yeah, I think so, bro, because I used to piss in the middle of the night a lot, but I haven't pissed in
Oh
the middle of
yeah,
the night
yeah,
in a while because I think my body don't got time for that. Dude, I
bro.
remember on
You
the
know,
first
you know
night,
that like, yeah.
on the first night I had a dream because I knew I was about to miss an hour of sleep. I just kept dreaming of the alarm clock going off, bro. I literally had dreams of the alarm clock. It was so bad.
Yo, yo, talking about bro. You know that pissing, um, waking up to piss in the middle of the night is
Yeah.
like detrimental to your sleep. Like
Oh,
compared to somebody who doesn't wake up to piss versus like somebody who wakes up like 2 or 3 times. The same book that I was reading, I think it, I think it goes your sleep quality goes down by at least like 10% or 20%. That's pretty
really?
big.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I think it
Wait. So
has.
is that? Did they do like a control with the if they put the light on in the bathroom?
I think. I mean, if you use the bathroom, you're gonna have to turn on the light. So I think so. Yes.
Okay, so dude, I probably know why. I probably know why their sleep sucked. So this is like one of the things that this is like one of my worst pet peeves, bro. This is the absolute like you are so not optimal. Um
Okay.
it's like so you know how like the sun, right? It controls your
Yeah.
alertness. And then, you're trying to sleep in the middle of the night. But imagine you're trying to sleep in the middle of the night, and then you just go outside in the middle of the day, and then boom, now the big lights on and you're awake. That's exactly what you're doing when you go into the bathroom in the middle of the night and you turn the light on, bro. You're just turning on the sun, and they've done studies with this. Your melatonin, which is what controls your sleep, like this sleep hormone, goes to zero, like flat. It flattens, bro. It flattens when it goes to zero. So that's why, like, once you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't fall asleep for like an hour. It's because you've just flattened your melatonin. So I got a nightlight like as soon as I heard that, bro. So like I can just sometimes piss on the toilet seat, but no big deal because my sleep is better than before. And now I can just wake up in the middle of the night, piss, and fall right back asleep. It probably still affects my sleep a little bit, but definitely not as much as going to the bathroom in the night and turning on the light.
So, do you have the nightlight in your bathroom that you use?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, did you have to? Did you like stick it in your light bulb and then switch it out too?
Now you can get how there's those outlets in your
Oh,
wall. Yeah,
oh,
there's
okay,
like
okay.
one.
Like you
There's
could just
there's
like
one.
turn it on without. Oh, I get
Yeah,
you. I get you.
yeah. You
How
get
has
one of
that
those.
affected? Yeah, how did that affect you just waking up in the middle of the night versus you turning on like the artificial light versus the night light?
Yeah, the nightlight, bro. It's like I used to like during quarantine when I would wake up in the middle of the night, turn on the light, and I would not be able to sleep for a while, bro.
Yeah,
Like sometimes I would.
yeah, yeah,
I think one time I went and played Rocket League because I couldn't sleep after that.
yeah.
Like 3 a.m. I got into like a free play and
Yo,
started doing musty flicks.
I remember. I remember fun story, fun story. I was trying to sleep at like 4 a.m. trying to go to bed. My homie hits me up. My homie hits me up. Hey, you trying to get on the league? And then I was like, so that day I just pulled the arm out. I didn't sleep. Fuck sleep, you know. It's like nah, sleep is number one, bro. Keep it low key, bro. Honestly, when you said that turning on the light in the middle of the night is like you going outside and getting the sunlight, which is basically you forcing yourself to tell the body, yo, wake up, wake up. I feel like it makes so much sense now that when you just turn on your light, of course you're gonna get wakened up. So
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
really important that you really minimize it.
yeah. And it's the same thing with the red lights, right? It's just like think of your artificial lights as the sun. So when you have red lights on, the reason that the red lights work is because it mimics the sunset because it has the same wavelengths as the sunset. Like the wavelengths are longer, which means that it's redder. So like if you just want to have a one sentence way to describe how to control your alertness is just mimic the sunset with your sleep or mimic the sun
Hundred
throughout the
percent.
day. That's what I meant.
Yeah, 100%. I want to add on
Yeah.
to
I think
one
we
of the
can move
things you
on.
said,
Oh,
bro. You know how you said
okay.
your nose is starting to be runny, and bro,
Yeah.
same with me. Like a couple days ago, since 4 days ago, my nose has been runny too, and I haven't been like feeling
Huh.
sick today, just a little bit in the morning. but I usually get it over with. And probably the reason why is like, bro, everyone's getting sick nearby.
Yeah.
Maybe because school's starting again. Usually there's like this effect when you go back to school for like the first
Oh,
2 or 3 weeks, people start getting sick. And
yeah.
I asked my brother this. I was like, why is that? And he told me, I mean, he might be dumber than me, but he told me that when people like start cramming in together once again, that like sickness, diseases spread all by. And since you're like close to
Yeah.
every one of the students, it's just like so easy to spread by. But since my nose is feeling bad, I remember I read this one book on on your nose breathing specifically, and the book is called
Mm.
O2 Advantage. It really talks about like the importance of nose breathing versus mouth
Mhm.
breathing. If you don't know, spoiler, mouth uh, mouth breathing has really bad effects to your health in any way you could think. Um, I remember reading the book, and there's like a specific diagram that showed me a nose breather and a mouth breather. And it might be a drastic comparison, but the mouth breather had literally every bad feature that you could think of. They had like okay, no offense, they had like crooked nose. They had they had like unlined jawline compared
Oh.
to if they nose breath, breathe.
Nose breathed.
And yeah, so since my nose was runny, another protocol from this book that I got was for 5 sets of so what okay, one set you do, and this is to remove your runny nose. It's one set you walk 20 steps with your nose pinched and you don't breathe for that period, and then you let it go. And you start breathing, your nose is cleared up a little bit more. But now you do like extra 5 or 6 more sets, round and around. Maybe you get like 20 steps in with your
Hmm.
nose pinched and you breathe again. And then like maybe like 22 steps, 25 steps, you progressively overload. And then at about like your sixth or seventh set, your nose should be much more cleared up by now then. And I actually tried this in the morning today since my nose was runny, and it actually did
Hmm.
work. It
Damn.
didn't like change 100%, but it actually did work. So this is something you might want to try, Cam. I think
I
had
want to try right
a
now.
little effect on me
We can try right
mid
now
podcast.
because podcasts take forever.
All right, bet.
Okay.
Start walking. Start walking.
Dude, my towel's on. Ugh.
Yo. All right, wait. I was just mouth breathing. That's crazy.
Yo, that was actually sick. Wow. My nose feels better. I'm not even joking. Wow, I did that experiment. That was actually
How
good.
did it feel,
My nose feels much clearer. I feel more
bro?
alert too.
Before you go to before I go to sleep, if my nose is just clogged up, sometimes I just do this, and my nose
Huh.
is like okay, let's say like just 20% more cleared up, and
Wow.
that's a big improvement for like just about like 40, just about takes like 5 minutes.
Oh, and dude, think about that.
Something that you should add.
Wait. Think about this. Like, if you had like you said, 20% improvement in your nose clearing, but that's like 20% increase in breathing overall, which increases the oxygen that goes into your body, which will increase your performance and your sleep quality. Bro,
You know,
damn.
it's like a chain effect, right,
Yeah.
bro? Some people even do that the nose tape, the nose strip. They apply it before going to
Oh,
sleep,
yeah. I have mouth
but
tape.
oh, dude, I
Oh,
used to do that. I
oh,
don't know
why'd you
if you still
stop?
do, but I used to do mouth tapes. Do you have any? I already talked about my own part. Do you have any inputs on how you apply nose breathing, or are you a nose breather? And
Yeah.
did it have any effect on you?
Yeah, I think that my jawline got. Now my jawline is not as good as my boy Jibs,
Holy.
but this dude mews like crazy. And so mewing, what mewing is I know you know what mewing
Right,
is,
right,
but
right.
I'll just explain it for the boys.
Yeah.
Um, Mewing is basically the practice of having proper tongue posture so that your jawline looks better and so you nose breathe properly. And it's like just basically do it easily by putting your tongue on the roof of your mouth and keeping it there. Like before, after, right? Just looks better. It's hard to get into, but once you get into it, it's very easy. Just do like muscle exercises for your tongue every day. Do like 3 sets of 10 mews. But anyways, right? When I started doing this, it was very hard at first. I remember one time my friend was doing it at the same time. He's like, "Oh, every time I see the doorknob, I start nose breathing." But like we people care so much about this mewing and this nose breathing stuff because the effects are insane. It's like it's some I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it's very significant. Like nose breathing significantly helps your performance with sleep and with sports performance and with oxygen efficiency, which will help you with your brain, will help you with everything you do. And so when I started nose breathing, I definitely noticed just like well, I was more confident because I had more of a jawline. Like I I have some pictures of me when in like eighth grade of me with pictures of day one of jawline progression, day two jawline progression, day three. They like all the pictures look the same. I did it for like 5 days, and then I stopped. But like if only I knew what mewing was. But like just the thought of nose breathing really changes you. And just think about like go to the big extremes. What does a mouth breather look like? Because usually they look like they got their neck hunched over, they got their chin up, like they got that Adam's apple hanging out, like they're kind of gross. No, sorry, nose breathers, but like you're pretty nasty. But normal, I mean mouth breathers. Did I say nose breather? I mean nose breathers look much better. Like usually you see like a confident dude. He's got good posture. He's got a nice jawline. Like just think to which one would you rather be, and then start being that person. Just set some way to remind yourself throughout the day. Like have an alarm, have an exercise, have a cue, have a habit tracker, so that you can get into nose breathing. But dude, it actually has like a 5%, or I don't know what the percentage is, but like think about it like this, right? If you were 5% higher performance every single day. Let's say you go to school, and this is the same with morning sunlight, right? Let's say you go to school and you have a 5% increase in alertness and performance. So you get off the bus and you're saying hi to people compared to other people who aren't saying hi to people because they don't have the alertness that you do. So now you're awake, you're saying hi to the people around you, and now you get into first period, and every single day you're asking questions in class, you're raising your hand, you're taking notes. Because why? You're 5% more alert than other people, which is, I don't know, that's at least like a good amount of alertness, right? And then every single day you do this 5% compounds day. And now you have like an A in the class compared to the kid next to you who has a B. So it's these small tips that are compounded over time that really make a big difference, which is why we are having this whole podcast about it. But is there anything more that, oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yo, talking about talking about performance. Also in the book Go to Advantage talked about mouth breathers compared to nose breathers, and I forgot the guy's name, but the author was doing a research. I think he's a professor somewhere. He was doing a research and to find the control group or
Huh.
the group that he's researching on. He decided to research on the isolated tribe groups.
Hmm.
I don't know specific name for them. And they found that they were surprisingly very healthy
Mm-hmm.
compared to like the modern people who are cramped up together in urban areas, like people in New York versus people who are isolated tribe people. And they tracked their progress in what they did, what they ate, and what performance they
Wow.
did, how they did it. And one thing they found was that they were mostly all nose breathers. specifically when they were running to hunt for food. You would think if you're running like 10 miles over a span of two
Hmm.
hours, you would start running, you would start nose breathing in the beginning, like the first mile, but then you start getting tired and you'd be like, but these people, they would solely rely on their nose. And this is something crazy that when you exercise or when you do some type of physical performance, if you
Hmm.
just nose breathe, although it's like painful during the time, it's gonna be a delayed gratification. It's gonna be delayed increase. It's gonna give you benefits for the next time and the next time and the next time. And it's gonna
Wow.
compound. Like you said, 5% increase, 5% increase of performance every day. That's insane. And the reason why
Wow.
the ancient or the tribe people were so
Out of
healthy,
just curiosity,
one
why do you
main
think
reason
like
was due to
what made
their
them
nose
so
breathing.
much
And
healthier? Was
I
it just
find
the
that crazy
evolutionary
to
that
me.
they were not
I
consumed
find
by
that
the
something
modern
crazy.
like junk food and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, honestly, besides the nose breathing, there is another big aspect to what affects our nose breathing,
The
especially.
new pimento
And
cheeseburger.
obviously, they weren't eating
That thing is so
McDonald's.
gross,
They're not
bro.
eating Chick Fil A. They're not getting like the new pimento cheese burger from Chick Fil A. No, they're not. Fun fact: I tried it once. Never tried it again. Yeah, they're all nose breathers, or mostly they're all most nose breathers. Yes, and obviously they don't eat junk food. They eat hard, chewy food like meat. They eat vegetables. They eat natural sources of food. And the author also researched on what affects how people start mouth breathing. And yeah, it's from
Hmm.
evolutionary aspects, like generation to generation. Like your mom, no, if your mom mouth breathes, then there's a higher percentage of
Really?
you mouth breathing. But another big main cause is how the things that we eat, how we eat, like junk food. He found that junk food has a big effect on mouth breathing. I don't remember what specific reason, but he when he compared two different people who ate junk food or and
That's
these tribe
honestly, I
people who
think
ate
that's more
natural resources of
correlation.
food, they found that the people who ate junk food were more likely to be mouth breathers. Maybe
Yeah.
yeah, maybe because like the way they chew, because like the natural food or like requires you to chew. I don't know what specific reason, but he did find
My
that if
hypothesis
you
is
eat
probably just
more
because they're
junk food,
fat,
there's
so
a
they have
more
bad
likelihood
habits.
of you starting to mouth breathe. And I found that crazy too. Cam, too. Honestly, though, even if you're fat and even if you're a mouth breather,
Easily.
you can go to a much more leader, six pack abs, nose breather,
Facts.
and
Just
that's
look up David
perfectly like
Goggins.
100% possible. 100% possible. I'm not, but David Goggins still probably a bad example. Probably like unrealistic. Yeah,
That's crazy,
facts.
bro.
Guy
That
went
is
from
crazy.
300 pounds to 190 pounds in a span of
Yeah.
3 months, and just let that motivate you for a second, right?
Mm.
But
Facts.
similar to nose breathing, Cam. I know that you're a big guy on posture, on chest out, confidence type
Okay,
guy.
well, it's an optimal thing with the tools. Like
Is
we're
there
talking
any
about tools,
reason why you
but I
think
kind of just want to
posture
go
is
into why
so
it's
crucial to one's life?
just a big part of one's life. So I think that this really changed my life when I read 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. First chapter talked about the dominance hierarchy in lobsters. Somehow that connected to stand up back with your shoulders straight, right? That was what the first rule in Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life was. And so that really changed my whole mindset because it basically said that the female lobsters can identify the alpha male dude that they want to reproduce with by looking to see if their chest is out and their shoulders are back. It's literally just possible. It's yeah, because it's an alpha male trait, or it's just like a trait that shows confidence, and it's a trait that shows health. So women can
That's
identify who's at the
crazy.
top of the dominance hierarchy by that specific thing. And so the reason that posture is good for health is because, like, when you think about it, right? Imagine you had a straw and then you bent the straw and now you try to sip out of it. You're not going to be able to sip very good. But then if you unbend the straw, it just goes right through, right? It's easy. That's the same with air in your esophagus. If you have a bent esophagus, it's going to be hard to get that air through. But if you have a straight one, it's much easier to breathe. And so then when you breathe better, you have better oxygen efficiency, you have better sleep quality, you have better performance, you look cooler. All the things are good with posture. And whenever I see someone that has bad posture, it's just like, dude, I don't even know how to describe it, but like if I was a girl, I would describe it as an ick, because that's what it is. It's an ick, bro. Like, you look stupid. That's like, you look like you jack off and play Xbox all day, bro. I'm not joking. So that's my take on posture.
Yo, sometimes I judge people. I shouldn't be doing that by their posture, and it makes 100% sense. If you have good posture, then like I know you're more likely
Yeah.
to be doing good stuff. Having good habits. Maybe you don't jack off. I mean, like 90% of the population do, and
Mm.
it's really like it's one of these issues that is another topic for later times. And I think it's crazy that Jordan Peterson includes the rule of posture
And think about
out
this.
of
It
12
was the
rules.
first one.
Like if he
It
had
was
to
the first
give
one that he wanted
12
everyone
rules
to
for
read,
people, he
because he knows that
included
sometimes people
posture as
don't
one
read
of
the
them.
whole book. So he
And
wants
I
them
think
to
that
read the
just
first
means
chapter
a
and get
lot.
at least that out of it. Wow. Just crazy. Just crazy.
Wow. Wow. Yo, another
Hmm.
thing that I noticed from you, um, I hit the Y a lot with you. I mean, not a lot, but from
Mm.
time to time I see you. And every time in the sauna, we go to the sauna together, I see you have a metal water bottle. And I do
What?
have a metal water bottle right here. Sometimes I use like plastic water bottles. Sometimes I just drink rain. No, I'm capping. Yeah. So, what
Yeah.
what reason is it that you specifically carry around
Yeah.
metal water bottles only?
Okay,
And
well,
I
funny
only see
story,
you
because
in
I
metal
actually have a
water
plastic water
bottles
bottle right now.
from school,
I was
from
showing Drew on this
Hawaii,
beforehand,
from
but
your
I
daily
lost my metal
life.
water
Is
bottle.
there any
But
specific
you know
reason?
what's gonna happen when I lose my metal water bottle? My estrogen
And I
is gonna
like,
increase. Okay, so what metal water bottles
yeah, I
do
know.
is what plastic water bottles don't.
It's not meant to.
And plastic water bottles have plastics in them, and plastics contain estrogen mimicking chemicals called BPAs. And when you have these BPAs, you get more estrogen. So it's literally like you get man boobs. You get like fat, because your body thinks that you literally have more of a female hormone. So it's making you more of a female ready to have a baby, bro. It's giving you what a female would need for reproduction. So when you have extra estrogen in your life, you look less optimal as a man. Like, if you're a woman, I don't know if it's good or bad to have plastic water bottles. Maybe you want more estrogen. But if you're a dude, then it's having high estrogen is going to make you less healthy. And it's going to, I don't know if it specifically lowers your testosterone, but it does increase your estrogen, which will kind of cancel out the testosterone effects. I don't know the whole science behind it, but basically, if you want to have high testosterone, if you want to have more drive, more focus, more motivation, then having a metal water bottle will do that. And I know some guy on YouTube who has been experimenting with it. It's Hamza, and he has been like, he said he got rid of all plastics in his life. He has a metal water bottle. He has a metal, um, no, he has like cotton clothing. He has an osmosis water filter to get all the bad stuff out of his tap water. And he says his estrogen went down 50%. So he halved his estrogen, bro. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy, bro. Just by getting rid of plastics. So over time, like, you can look at the charts and stuff. the more plastic that we have, it's like parallel with the decrease in estrogen in average estrogen in males. It's crazy, bro. Wow.
That is actually insane. It's one that I haven't even heard neither. That's crazy. Because I myself, I have a
Ew.
confession. I have a plastic water bottle that I
Ew.
bring to school. So yo, maybe I'm gonna have to dip that.
Wow. So I know that like having more testosterone
All
increases
love, bro. All
focus
love.
and stuff.
That's crazy.
Same with the guy Hamza. He did mention one time about having a low carb diet. Do you I know you've been doing like some sort of low intake carb for focus. Does that actually help? Hmm.
Yo, so I've been trying this for I think like around like 3 weeks. I usually don't, but from the start of school, I would get back from school and it would
Mm.
be like 2:30 ish, and straight away I would start munching on these carbs. I would start munching
Huh.
on rice, on a little bit of meat,
Mm-hmm.
on some veggies, but majority would be carbs and even healthy carbs too. It would be like rice. Sometimes it'd be spaghetti, pasta, and those are really good sources of carbs. But right after I ate them,
Wow.
and when I started to do some work, I'll
Damn.
feel so tired. I'll feel so lethargic. And for the first week of school, I was taking naps because I was so tired. And yes, it did help to boost my focus and to get me running back up. But also, it I had to sacrifice an hour of my time, and I didn't really like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the next week, I tried this new thing of low carb diet, just in breakfast and lunch.
Mm.
So after I got back from school, my lunch actually my mom cooked, so I had to tell her about this. I said, "Mom, I'm gonna try this new thing, low carb diet. I want to be as focused as most focused as possible." So I tried eating lean meat like chicken, salmon, or beef, and just some plain rice, but in a small portion
Mm.
and a lot of veggies, typically with what do you call those? Just some romaine lettuce and feta
Mm-hmm.
cheese, and with some balsamic vinegar. Just mix that up. Just some greens. There you have it: greens, carbs, and a lot of meat for
Hmm.
protein. And since that time,
Mm.
I haven't been taking too much naps. I think I took only like 1 or 2 naps, and that was because the previous day I had gotten sleep. But it really helped me to focus, to knock them down, and to save me an hour of my time, which
Wow.
was usually the time I needed to spend on napping. But it was like a gradual increase of energy. There was not a crash from the carbs. And I think me personally it
Huh.
has impacted me. And
So I
do you
tried
do
like low
any type
carb
of
over the summer
carb
for like three
diets or
weeks.
any like
And so what I
keto?
would do, I would
What
get
type of
up
diet do you have for focus?
instead of having like my normal lunch, which would usually be 400 calories of carbs, like pasta,
Yeah.
rice, whatever, I would replace it with beans, and then I would try to go low carb during dinner as well. My breakfast it was like 3 slices of bread, so it wasn't that much. I was probably having like under 200 grams of carbs throughout the day. Usually it's like 400, so I like halved my carb intake, and I still kept my calories the same. So I switched it out with like more fats and more proteins, whatever. But I was like, oh, let me try this experiment. Good for my focus. I'm trying to be more focused. But for some reason, I didn't even feel anything. Right? I don't know why. My focus didn't change. Nothing changed. I just kind of had different eating times, and that was all right. But like nothing really changed about my focus, and I like took notes. I was like, oh, let me do this. But my experiment concluded that it didn't have any effect on me. Same thing with fasting. I wouldn't eat till well, I started out for a week. I would wake up at 6 and then I would usually eat right away, do my morning sunlight, start work. But I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do my morning sunlight, start work, and then I'll eat later. um, nothing really changed, right? So I was like, okay, maybe it's because I'm still eating too early. So I moved it to 10 o'clock, got another deep work session in. Still nothing changed. I was like, okay, maybe it's too early. So I just moved it even farther back and still nothing changed. And so I was like, man, maybe it just doesn't have an effect on a lot of people. You know what I mean? Hmm.
Dude, I could totally agree with you. I think like the biggest takeaway from your situation is that everybody's different, right? When this YouTube influencer you already mentioned him,
Hmm.
Hamza, was talking about his focus, he says that he does intermediate fasting. So he doesn't typically tries to skip breakfast, just tries to get his protein shake in, and then just straight deep
Yeah.
work right after his morning routine. And I tried that for 2 to 3 weeks,
Hmm.
but it would really have literally no effect, if not actually worse
Yeah.
worse focus than before. Because I'm the type of guy that I
Yeah.
need
Same with
at least some
me.
type of food before beginning any type of work. And that's just me.
Yeah,
You think
everybody's
it'd be
different. Like I do
skipping
recommend
breakfast
experimenting
for
with it
the
though. If
sake
you
of
haven't
focus,
tried,
but
that's the whole reason why I started
yeah,
experimenting with my sleep because I was just like, I may as well experiment with it, man. I'm gonna die. I may as well try to optimize my sleep. So yeah, um, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. Let me
Is there,
think. Not
is there, is
necessarily
there any
experiments,
other
but there are a
experiments
couple
that you have done
tools
that was successful
that I
for in
that
terms of
I know like off
focus?
the top of my head that have just always helped me. As soon as I started implementing them from like Andrew Huberman and like the books. The first one is just like a cold shower because dude, just think about it. It's like when you go into a cold shower and like this is what you should do if you're a beast, like absolute alpha beast, is you just turn it on and you're already inside the shower. So it's like you know what I mean? It's like it's so scary, bro. Oh my gosh. And that spikes your adrenaline so much. It's like you're getting thrown into an ice lake when you're a Viking from the 1200s. It's cool, bro. Not even the 1200s, like 10,000 BC. It's like you're so crazy, bro. And you, and that spikes your focus so much. I just do that right before work, right after school, because I'm always tired after school. Just boom, hit a cold shower, and I'm ready for work. And that has helped my focus a ton, bro.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I think particularly for me, I know I mentioned in this previous podcast from how to get all A's as a student. I think for me, setting a tight deadline, specifically like I set a tight timer. All right, that kind of sounded weird. Yeah, I set a tight deadline on whatever I'm doing. Any type of work or focus that I'm trying to do. So let's say, for example, I have some AP history work along with some AP calculus work. I could possibly do them in 2 hours, but let's aim for 90 minutes, and that's a tight deadline. So I set a timer on, and I say, "Yo, for this history work, I could finish in 50 minutes, and for this calculus work, I'm gonna try to aim to finish it in 40 minutes." And boom, I start getting into it. Right? It's like it's like when you're in class and you do like a lab, but the deadline is when the class is over, when the bell rings, and somehow you just do it, right? You just do it. You finish it. Your quality may be like maybe not be like 100%, but even if it's 90%, then you have done enough, and then 95%, then you have done great. And your focus is the main part that's on point. Do you agree with this, Cam?
Dude, yeah, that's like Parkinson's law, right? That's just it's one of those things that it's not really like a biological tool, but it's one of those tools you can mentally use so that you can have that mentality. Um, but let's think like if you could have top three tools out of all of them, like you could only use three tools for the rest of your life, which ones would you use?
I think the morning sunlight gotta be in at least the top two for me, morning sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely I gotta put using red lights, especially for my sleep.
Hmm.
And
Facts.
the next thing I think I would put, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think a new one that I'm going to put is the metal water bottle that I
Hmm.
really do want to consider. So, I really want to thank you for that. I really didn't have any
Hmm.
insight on that,
Yeah.
and until you said
Yeah.
it. So, my boy Cam, Doctor
Wow.
Scolio,
Wow.
thank you, Doctor
Dr.
Scolio.
Scalia. Thank
What
you,
about
Dr.
yourself?
Park.
What would you put as your top three tools that you would implement?
Hmm. Let me see. I'll think number one, morning sunlight, just because that's the go to. That's the insta boost. That's the insta hack, and that's the long term hack. It's insta and long term and biological. So it's all of it in one. I just love the morning sunlight. The second one is probably posture, just because, like, dude, you gotta be a beast, and you gotta have the health of a beast, and both the posture gets you both of those. And then probably the last one is just like, it's kind of funny how this all affects like just your sleep. Like we both said 2 out of 3 of them were for sleep, but light manipulation, like mimicking the sun throughout the day with the red lights and the morning sunlight, and when you're asleep in the night, don't turn on the light. It's that kind of rhymed. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Anyways, but yeah, dude, those are the three, like those are the insta boosts that you can use for long term gains. Which is why I love them so much. But bro, I'm gonna be honest, like the metal water bottle for you, it didn't even help me that much. At least I didn't even notice a difference. It might even be placebo. Who knows? But it's worth trying. It's worth trying, and it's worth looking into. So yeah, have fun with that.
Who knows? It's worth trying.
Yeah.
If you have
So
been watching this video for the past an hour, I would say you have come you've come a long way, and I
yeah.
want to just put down a couple actionable steps for you. I would say you would write down two things that you want to do right now, right? And do them, no BS. Just try them, see how you feel, experiment it, and try your own way of doing it. Whether it's like light manipulation, getting morning sunlight, fixing your posture, mouth, nose breathing. I meant nose breathing. Try them out. Probably not every single one of them that you might stick to, but you're definitely gonna find a couple. Stay optimal.